Okay, everyone, I'd like to introduce the mayor to you. This is Mayor Smith. Mayor Smith, this is the class today, and we're here to talk to them about careers.
Okay.
And we'd like to hear you tell them about your career.
Okay.
And then we'll have some questions and answers. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right.
So they have you on a roller skate kind of schedule today, so I'm going to do this very quickly, so we'll try to get as much in as we can. Is that all right?
Yes.
So I'm supposed to go first to talk about my career, right?
Yes.
Okay. Of course, you know I'm the mayor of Irvington. And I get, how many of you know how you get to be mayor? Yes, ma'am. How do you get to be mayor?
By filling out a form saying that you want to be the mayor, and then the people of the town have to vote.
Yeah, there you go. You have to win the election. The forms that you fill out are petitions allowing you to be on the ballot and all those kinds of things. So I guess I'll tell you how I decided I wanted to be mayor. So, of course, you know, I did very well in school when I was your age. I then went on to Bloomfield College. I went to also a paralegal institute and worked in my first career primarily in sales and marketing in the insurance industry, which I still, as mayor of the city, still have a very small business called Wayne Smith and Associates that's involved in insurance, marketing, and public relations. So through that insurance business, I got very active in the community and got to be on a number of boards, many of them which helped children, which did things to help people that were in trouble in the community. And kind of one thing led to another. And then around 1990, we had the first African-American mayor elected in Irvington. And he used to work for the school district. His name was Mike Steele, and I became his chief of staff in 1990. It helped him get elected mayor. And I worked for Michael from 90 to 94, and then he didn't get reelected. So in 1994, I went back to doing business, and in 96, a young man who is now deceased, his name is Patrick McNally, he was a council member at large. He ran for another office. It was called the Essex County Clerk's Office, and they handle elections and records and all of that. So he left a vacancy on the Irvington Town Council as a council member at large. And so some friends of mine said, you should take a crack at running for council member at large in 1996. And I did that in 1996 and won. And it was a special election. I had a 2-year term. So in 1998, I had to run for re-election for a 4-year term to the municipal council or the town council. And I won that election as well. And then the members of the council pick their own president. You get to be the leader of the body. So they picked me as the council president in 1998, and I served in that capacity from 1998 to 2002. And in 2002, I decided to run for mayor. Got elected in a very hard-fought, close election. And then I got reelected. And the best election I ever had. You know why? Because nobody competed against me. I woke up in the morning not having to guess the outcome. I knew I was going to be mayor for another 4 years. So in 2006, I got reelected to a second term as mayor. And I'm the first mayor, in fact, I'm the only second mayor since 1978 to run unopposed. And in 2010, I got elected to the first mayor to get elected 3 times as mayor. So I'm in my 3rd term. And since we're in a public school, I won't talk about what I'm doing next, but I'm actually in the middle of a campaign for another office right now. So that's kind of like a thumbnail sketch of how I got to be mayor in my career. I've done a number of other things. I've been an aide to a couple of legislators, and of course, for being a council member and the mayor. I've been an aide to Donald Tucker, an aide to Ron Rice Sr., an aide to Harry McEnroe. So I've had a broad array, and I'm president of the New Jersey Urban Mayors, which is a group of city mayors of the 26 largest cities in New Jersey. So I see you guys all have questions, so we're going to proceed with some of your questions. Yes, sir.
Are you going to stop stuff like Trayvon Martin?
Pardon me? Am I going to stop stuff like Trayvon Martin? Just give me 1 second. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got the book. No, I got the book. I got it in my hand. Yeah, I told you. I got the book last night. I told her I got it in my hand. It's in there. Yeah, I got the book in my hand. I got the book. I'll give you a copy of it Monday, whatever. At least a copy of the page. All right. All right. Sorry about that. My town. Let me answer this question. He talked about Trayvon Martin. How many of you know who Trayvon Martin is? Okay, all of you know who Trayvon Martin is. So you asked the question. What's your question again?
Are you going to stop stuff like Trayvon Martin?
Okay, all right. So we had a demonstration in front of Town Hall. I don't know if you know, it was a couple of weeks ago, to raise our voices just before the grand jury was supposed to see if they were going to indict Mr. Zimmerman, who was the person that shot Trayvon Martin. So and that happened in Florida, a place called Stanford, Florida, which is in the southern part of the United States. So it didn't happen here, but it had what we call national implications. So we got involved, and I think by the actions that we took in Irvington and other people took around the country, it actually made him he's on trial. He's going to stand trial. I think if the community had remained silent, that he probably would not have went on trial. So yes, we were involved with that. Who's next? Yes, ma'am.
How does your work compare to our community work?
Well, if they're one and the same. Your community work? Give me your question again.
How does your work compare to our work in the community?
What work do you do in the community?
No, I mean like builders and police officers.
Well, I hire the police officers. Theoretically, they work for me. So I hire them, I hire their bosses, I give them instructions on, in terms of what I'd like to see happen in the community. We try to recruit people to town to build businesses and to build housing. So the mayor's involved probably in almost every aspect of a community, right? Young man, you got your hand? What's your question?
How would you feel if it was more charter schools?
How would I feel? Well, that's really up to the community. There are a lot of discussion about charter schools. I think I'm more interested in any school that works, whether it's public, private, or charter. And so if the community wants charter schools, they will organize themselves to have more charter schools, or they will work to improve their public schools. But at the end of the day, we need good schools. And one of the ways that you ensure good schools is parents and the community have to be involved in schools. They have all kinds of research that shows that when parents and adults and community businesses are involved in schools, young people do better academically. Yeah, try somebody else, yes.
Do you make some laws?
Well, when I was a council member, remember that part of my career that I talked about being a council member? Council members make laws. As mayor, I don't make laws. I administer the law, or I make sure that the law is enforced. So one of the ways I enforce the law is through police officers, like she mentioned. So, and sometimes people will get tickets for different things, they'll get arrested. Sometimes if your house is not fixed up correctly, you'll get a ticket for that. So I enforce the law. You may have studied in your social studies or history lessons, how many people know the 3 branches of government? Okay, what's one of them? That's the Supreme Court is the judicial branch, right? Who knows another one? Yes, ma'am. The legislative branch. So let's talk about what is a legislative branch. So for the United States government, what's the legislative branch? All right. So for the United States government, it's the House of Representatives and the United States Senate, and that's called the Congress. As a combined group, they're called the Congress of the United States. That's the legislative branch. So, and the executive branch is the 3rd branch. That's who's the head of that? Yeah.
The president.
President Obama. So in New Jersey, who is the executive branch? Yeah, you want to take a crack at it? Yes, sir. No, in Irvington, I am the executive branch, but for the state of New Jersey, who?
The governor.
The governor, right, okay. So the legislative branch in Irvington is the city council, so they're the lawmakers. That's what all legislative branches of government do. They make the laws. And in New Jersey, you have the state senate and you have the state assembly.